Hi everyone, it's Mama Bird, and today we're talking about rooms, specifically how a family of five actually makes a Disney cruise cabin work. Because if you're a family of five, you already know that most travel just isn't built for you. Rooms max out at four, connecting rooms are hit or miss, and the solution a lot of cruise lines offer is splitting up kids in one cabin, adults across the hall. And when your kids are little, that's just not an option. So, whenever I'm booking a trip, the room is the very first thing I look at. Before the ship, before the itinerary, before anything else. If five people can't sleep comfortably and get ready without losing their minds, it doesn't matter how beautiful the ship is. It just won't work for us. Disney is one of the only lines where I can reliably solve this without paying for a suite. And today, I'm going to break down exactly how. We almost always book the deluxe family ocean view stateroom with veranda, also known as the family balcony room. Disney also offers the deluxe family ocean view, which doesn't have a balcony. I know some families with little ones prefer this. And honestly, in my experience, the balcony itself has never been the scary part. Disney puts a lock up high on the veranda door so the kids can't just wander out. The real toddler moment is actually the main cabin door. I have had a toddler escape in the hallway while I was in the bathroom. Thankfully, our stateroom host spotted them and herded them right back. One important booking note, in some categories, there are rooms that sleep four and rooms that sleep five. So when you book, confirm the stateroom's occupancy is five and that it includes the fifth sleeping surface you need. If you can't find a cabin that sleeps five, Disney also has more connecting room inventory than many lines. So that's often the plan B. Also worth knowing, rooms do vary a little by ship class. Older ships have some different bathroom shapes, and newer ships can feel slightly narrower in certain spots. But the core setup, the things that make this work for a bigger family, are consistent across the fleet. Most of the family of five rooms sit closer to the middle of the ship. That's partly because they're a little longer than standard cabins, and the layout works better there. But there's a bonus. Midship is steadier. If anyone in your family gets motion sickness, and with five people the odds go up, being in the middle of the ship can make a real difference over a full week of sailing. When you walk into a Disney cabin, you'll usually need a card in the slot to activate the electricity. When our kids were babies, we just used the baby's room key. But now that everyone's older and wants their own card, mostly so they can race ahead and be the one to open the door, we bring an old hotel key card from home. That way, no one accidentally kills the power on someone who's still in the bathroom. And yes, that has happened. Speaking of bathrooms, the split bathroom is one of Disney's best family features, and it doesn't get enough credit. The sink and vanity are separate from the shower and toilet, so two people can be doing two different things at the same time. When you're trying to get five people ready for a dining reservation, that one design choice saves you every single night. The one quirk on some of the older ships, the light switches are outside the bathroom. I cannot count how many times someone has flipped those lights off while another person was still in there. Let's talk about the sleeping setup. And this is the part I love. During the day, the room looks totally normal. There's a queen bed, a couch, some open floor space. It feels livable. But at night, your stateroom host transforms it. The sofa folds out into a bed, a bunk drops down from the ceiling, and the Murphy bed folds out from the wall. And just like that, every single kid has their own sleeping space. No sharing, no arguing over blankets, No one getting kicked at 2 a.m. The only arguments we still have: who gets the top bunk? In our family, that's sister, because she is not a morning bird like the boys. Now, I want to be honest about the trade offs, because there are a couple. The Murphy bed, when it's folded down, can block the path to the balcony. So, in the morning, you're kind of scooting around it. It can also block some drawers. I once stored pajamas in those drawers without thinking, and I learned that lesson the hard way. Your stateroom host will usually fold everything back to day mode while you're out. Some hosts swoop in the second you leave, others have a rotation, and if they don't catch you leaving, that Murphy bed can be down for a while. It's not a deal breaker, just worth knowing. Disney also builds in night lights near the sleeping areas and on some newer ships in the bathroom too. Such a thoughtful touch when you have kids waking up in the middle of the night. And there's a curtain that can divide the room into a kid zone and an adult zone. We don't use it much at bedtime anymore, but when we had a napper, it was everything. Now, I've already talked about the safety lock on the balcony door, but let me tell you what the veranda actually is for us. It's 2 chairs, a small table, and fresh ocean air. It's where Mama and Papa go when we need 5 quiet minutes. It's our reset button in the middle of a busy family trip. One thing to watch for: if you leave the balcony door open, it can create a cross breeze that makes the main cabin door slam shut. A friend of ours had their child's hand caught in that door. No serious injury, thankfully, but it's something to stay aware of, especially with little ones moving around. With 5 people in one room, storage is survival, not a nice to have. Disney gets this right. Suitcases slide under the bed, which means you're not losing closet space to luggage. And there's actually enough drawer and shelf space to unpack everyone. We are firmly, completely, non negotiably team unpack for the cruise. Living out of suitcases with 5 people, even with daily housekeeping, creates this low grade chaos that follows you around all week. Unpacking on day one takes maybe 20 minutes, and it makes every other day calmer. We also bring a few small things that can help keep the room organized, like magnetic hooks and a hamper. Many cabins have magnetic walls, and the ceiling is usually the most reliable spot, especially for anything heavier. And one important note: don't bring over the door hooks. I had a suitcase almost left at port because it got flagged in security for having door hooks. Just use magnets instead. Now, the fridge keeps things cool, not cold. If you need something truly refrigerated, ask your stateroom host for ice and use a zip top bag inside the fridge. The TV swivels, which is great. You can angle it toward the bed or the couch. Just make sure you push it firmly back into place before bed, or it can rattle when the ship moves at night. Now, Disney rooms aren't perfect. There are little things I could nitpick, but what they've built is genuinely rare. A standard cabin, not a suite, where a family of 5 can all sleep comfortably, get ready without losing their minds, and actually feel like the space works for them. For us, that room setup is one of the biggest reasons Disney keeps pulling us back. It's not just a place to sleep, it's the home base that makes the rest of the trip work. If you're a family of 5 wondering whether cruising is even possible without splitting everyone up, I hope this helped answer that question. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to follow Mama Bird Adventures for more honest family travel tips and finds. Because, after all, we're birds of a feather that travel together.